It all came crashing down the day Claire opened that door and found her sister standing too close to the man she once called her own. The air turned heavy, the kind you can't breathe through, and every word after was a stone thrown across bloodlines. Mama wept, Daddy shook his head, and the whole town hummed with whispers sharper than knives. Love had walked into the wrong house, and now the porch lights burned late into the night with voices raised and hearts breaking. And Lord, once a family cracks like that, no supper table, no Sunday prayer, no sweet tea on the porch can ever put it back the same. Paige never meant for it to happen. Lord knows she never planned it, never prayed for it, never even dreamed it. But hearts are wild creatures, they don't stay where you put them. They slip through fences, they run into forbidden fields, and sometimes they come back dragging trouble behind them. That's what happened when Paige's heart found Aaron. Aaron wasn't just anybody. He was Claire's man first, her sister's man, her blood's man. Tall, broad-shouldered, with hands that looked like they'd seen more work than rest, and eyes that carried the weight of storms long past. When he walked through town, women looked, and men muttered. But when he looked at Paige, just one long, steady look, it felt like the world hushed itself to listen. Started small. Always does. A laugh held too long. A glance caught too quick. A touch that lingered past what was proper. Paige told herself it was nothing. Just wind stirring leaves, harmless and passing. But nights grew heavier, and her heart beat restless, like a drum that refused to stop. And when Aaron's hand brushed hers one evening under the willow tree, Paige felt her whole soul split open. She knew it was wrong. She knew it was fire. But she also knew she could no longer run. The trouble was Claire. Sweet, fiery Claire, who carried her love like a badge and her pain like a wound. She still loved Aaron, everybody knew it. Even after their fights. Even after the nights he didn't come home. Even after the silence that spread between them like winter frost, Claire's heart clung to him. So when she found out about Paige and Aaron, it wasn't just betrayal. It was war. The day it broke open, the house went still. Claire walked in on them. Paige with her hair falling loose, Aaron standing too close, his shadow covering hers. Claire's face turned pale, then red, then something darker. "My own sister," she whispered, and the words cracked like a whip across the room. Paige tried to explain, but explanations are like broken glass. Once it's shattered, all it does is cut. Aaron stood there like a man pinned to the wall, but even his silence spoke. From that moment, nothing was the same. Families don't just bend under secrets, they break. Mama cried into her apron, begging her girls to stop. Daddy chewed tobacco in the corner, spitting into his tin, shaking his head slow, like he'd seen the story before and knew how it ended. Aunt May stopped coming by, and Uncle Joe said it was shameful, plain shameful, what had happened. Folks in town took sides. Some whispered Paige was selfish, hungry for a love that wasn't hers. Others said Claire should have held tighter to her man. But no one dared say it too loud, because the wound was fresh, and everyone knew the family had turned battlefield. Every Sunday supper was the same. Claire sitting stiff, Paige trying not to cry, Aaron silent as stone. Mama passed dishes with shaking hands, Daddy cleared his throat, and the air was thick enough to choke on. No matter what words were said, every bite tasted like bitterness. And outside those walls, the town buzzed, carrying the tale from porch to porch like bees carrying pollen, until everybody knew and nobody forgot. Paige wrestled with her heart at night. She'd lie in bed listening to the crickets, thinking of Claire, remembering the nights they shared secrets as little girls, whispering under covers, laughing until their stomachs hurt. Was one man worth losing her sister? Was one fire worth burning down everything? But when Aaron came, quiet, heavy, smelling of tobacco and sweat, her doubts melted. He wasn't perfect, no, but when his arms wrapped around her, she felt alive in a way she couldn't deny. It was sin, it was salvation, it was both at once, and Paige knew she was too far gone to turn back. Aaron didn't speak much, but when he did, his words cut clean. "Paige," he told her one night, "I didn't mean for this either, but I can't undo it now. I chose you." And with those words, Paige knew the road ahead was set, rocky and rough, but hers to walk. Claire's anger didn't fade, it hardened. She carried it like armor, sharp and unyielding. One night, she came to Paige's room, eyes red but voice steady. "You chose him," she said, quiet as a knife. "But don't forget, you lost me." And Paige's heart sank, because she knew her sister meant every word. From then on, Claire walked proud, but her laughter was gone. Her eyes, once bright, dimmed like lanterns running out of oil. She didn't scream anymore, didn't cry. She just shut her heart and locked the door. Paige tried to reach her, but every word bounced back like stones against iron. And Mama? She prayed louder, cooked harder, trying to mend with food what words couldn't fix. But nothing stuck. The years stretched long, and still the wound stayed open. Aaron and Paige built a life together. Yes, they had a home, some good days, some quiet moments where peace felt almost possible. But the cracks never closed. The walls always trembled when the wind blew hard, and in every silence, Claire's shadow lingered. Some nights, Paige would wake from dreams of her sister, tears on her face, and Aaron would hold her close, but his arms couldn't chase the ghosts away. The town never let them forget. Even years later, when old folks sat on their porches swapping tales, someone always brought up the story of Aaron and Paige, and the sister who was left behind. Some said it was a love too strong to be denied. Others swore it was a sin dressed up as passion. But everyone agreed it was a scar that cut too deep to heal. And so it ended not with thunder, not with fire, but with silence. Heavy silence, thick as summer heat, unshakable. Claire moved on, at least she tried, but her eyes never carried the same shine. Paige stayed with Aaron until her last breath. But even in love, she bore the weight of loss. And Aaron? He just kept walking. A man torn between two sisters, carrying the burden of being loved and hated in the same breath. And if you ever find yourself on a warm southern night, sitting on a porch where the rocking chairs creak and the fireflies dance, you might hear the old folks tell it again. They'll shake their heads, sip sweet tea slow, and say, "Lord, love will break you if you let it. And sometimes, even if you don't."